Today I want to talk about the heat in Placencia, Belize, what no one really prepares you for. Hi, I'm Jane and I've lived in Placencia, Belize for 4 years, and I talk and write about real life in Placencia, Belize, what it's really like to live here. And before moving to Placencia, most people, including myself, imagine heat as part of the dream, especially when I was sitting in chilly Canada, shoveling snow. You dream about sunshine, palm trees, warm ocean air, endless beach weather. And at first it's exactly that. Until you realize though that the heat here is not the same as summer weather back home. It's heavier, it's closer, it's more constant, it's way more humid. And learning to live with it becomes a part of everyday life in Belize. Here the heat starts early, especially this time of the year. I get up at about 5:30, and by that time, by about 5:30, I already have a fan on and I can feel the humidity. By 7 a.m., the air can already feel really thick. And by midday, walking outside for even a few minutes can leave you drenched in sweat, not because you're exercising, because you exist outside. And so things tend to get done a little bit earlier here. During the hotter months, especially before the rainy season arrives, heat doesn't always let up at night either. And it's often essential to, if you can afford it, running AC is perfectly fine, but the electricity here is very expensive, and running AC could double or triple your bill. What a lot of people do is run their AC a couple hours before bedtime, and then it cools the room down for most of the night. You don't always cool down here though if you don't have AC, and sometimes you simply adjust. We have overhead fans, I have floor fans. The humidity also changes everything. People often focus on the temperature itself, but the real story is the humidity. A temperature that might feel manageable somewhere else becomes exhausting when the air feels saturated. And you notice it in small ways. Your coffee gets cold faster because you're sweating before you finish it. Showers become less about cleanliness and more about survival. It's so lovely to have a cold shower when you're really hot. And you plan errands around shade and air flow. Walking feels different here. A lot of people, the locals, walk really slowly, and that's not because they're lazy. It's because slow walking is cooler. And the humidity changes your pace. Eventually your expectations do. Everyday life here revolves around the heat. Living in Placencia means learning to structure your life differently. You start doing things much earlier. Everything happens in the early morning. Grocery runs, beach walks, outdoor chores, exercise. You'll find that the streets and the shops, deliveries, everything are really busy in the morning. But if you walk into the village in the afternoon, it's almost like a ghost town because it's so hot. By afternoon, people slow down completely. And this is one of the biggest adjustments for newcomers from fast-paced environments. The heat forces you to stop pushing against the day. You either adapt to the rhythm or you constantly feel drained by it. And your house feels the heat too. It depends, what you live in. A concrete house obviously is cooler than a little wooden house. As you can see behind me, I live in a wooden house, and a lot of the houses have tin roofs, and it really holds the heat in. And so without good airflow, houses heat up quickly, and you'll find most of the time that there are windows on each opposite sides of the house, and when you open them, you get the beautiful breeze and the airflow that goes through the house. Without good airflow, houses heat up quickly. Ceiling fans become absolutely essential, and air conditioning, as I said before, can become expensive really fast. Depending on where you live, electronics run hotter, food spoils faster. Even in the fridge, food spoils faster. Laundry becomes a balancing act between sudden sun and sudden rain, and bugs become more active. You begin paying attention to things that you never thought about before. Cross breezes, shade, insulation, window placement, even when the sun hits your walls in the afternoon. And there's a mental side to it too. Heat exhaustion isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it feels like just low energy, irritability, brain fog, lack of motivation. All those things really affect you. And when you live in a when you live in a tropical climate full time, you start realizing how much weather affects your mood and productivity. Some days feel effortless, other days the heat, even simple tasks, feel heavier than they should. And this is something short-term visitors rarely experience because the vacation mode carries you through it. And in the cooler months, which is, December to March to April, that's when most of the tourists come to Belize. And the heat here, the humidity and the heat here is way, way less. When you live here full time, and so May through, say, October, it is absolutely brutally hot here. And real life doesn't carry you through it. So over time, your body adjusts. You stop overdressing. You drink more water automatically, and you move slower without even apologizing for it. As I said, slow is cooler. And strangely enough, what felt unbearable starts to feel normal. You begin noticing the relief of a sudden breeze, the calm before the evening rain, the cooler mornings after a storm, and how beautiful Placencia feels at sunset after a brutally hot day. The heat stops being the enemy and starts becoming part of the environment you live within. And, you can always go to the beach. There are coconut trees all over the beach that you could sit underneath and enjoy the beautiful cool sea breeze. The sea is cool. There's always a pool that you can immerse yourself in. The heat here shapes the culture. There's a reason why life moves differently in Belize, and the climate influences everything: the pace, the social rhythms, the afternoon slowdowns, the emphasis on outdoor living, the relaxed timelines. People who thrive here usually learn one important lesson: you cannot force tropical life to operate on a constant high-speed schedule. The heat simply won't allow it. The heat in Placencia is beautiful. It's exhausting, frustrating, grounding, and unforgettable all at the same time. And that can wear you down if you fight it. But you learn to work with it instead of against it, and something shifts. You slow down, you become more present, you start living according to the environment instead of trying to control it. And honestly, that adjustment may be one of the most important parts of living here.